Welcome to SEC Online. I am Syed Haroon, the campus ambassador for Jamia Millia Islamia. And today we have with us an eminent name in the legal fraternity, who is also an alumnus of Jamia Millia Islamia, Mr. Tariq Khan. Mr. Khan is the youngest Business World 40 under 40 and has also featured in Fortune 500 India magazine, the special issue of 2017 and 18, for the bestseller book On the Rise. He is frequently invited in various law conferences and events by domestic bar associations, law schools, alternative dispute resolution centers, among other organizations. He has been teaching arbitration as a guest faculty for the past 6 years in various prominent law schools in India. He is also a writer, a columnist, having more than 50 publications to his credit in various journals, magazines, and popular news portals. He is also qualified to the conference round of Judge Advocate General, Indian Army. Mr. Khan has a wide experience in international and domestic arbitration, MSME proceedings, and commercial laws. So without further ado, let's carry forward with the interview. Dear sir, at the outset, thank you for taking the time out for this interview. And could you describe our viewers how you chose to become a lawyer or took up law as a career option?
Okay, Haroon, that's a very interesting question. But I think that I never chose law. I don't think that's the right thing to say that I was somebody who always wanted to be a lawyer. I think the profession chose me. And when I was young, I belonged from Shahjahanpur, which is a small town in UP. And I did not have the influence of lawyers early in my childhood. And nobody in my family was a lawyer. And when I came to Delhi, I had certain issues due to which I could never have thought of being a lawyer. For instance, I did not have command over the English language. I had a stage fright, and I was not fond of reading. Then in fact, I became a science student. I wanted to be an engineer, but for some reason, when I couldn't qualify any of my exams, none of the engineering exams I could crack, AIEEE and all, I remember. I got a pathetic rank, which I don't even recall now, must be in thousands. So I think that law was never my first choice. But yes, I mean, early in life, at my home, freedom of speech was always encouraged. We were given the right, and our opinion was always valued. So I think early I had those qualities, but it was never my first choice. And it's when I did not qualify in any of the engineering exams, I decided, my father told me to give entrance exam of law, and I couldn't give any a national law school exams because CLAT, I remember the fees was too much, which of course I could not have afford. That's why I considered Jamia as an option, excellent option, because it was in Delhi and the fees was probably 5,000 or 6,000 per year, which I could have managed. So yeah, that was the reason why I chose law. And so it's only the hardships which I think made me choose law, because I was a failure in everything else. So yeah, that's the long and short of it.
That's quite an interesting answer to that. So how would you sum up your college life and then initial year of your career as a lawyer? And how was it different from being a non-NLU and an NLU graduate or as a student?
Okay, so interestingly, at that time when I was in Jamia, when I joined, I'll tell you the first day of my college. When I went to Jamia, I saw a lot of people dressed up in a very different manner. And I was pretty happy to see that I was the backbencher, of course, because I was very nervous. And then I saw one teacher carrying a book, R.K. Bangia, Law of Contracts. And then another teacher carrying the book of Law of Torts by R.K. Bangia. These were two thick books. And I used to think that these books are going to go on for 5 years. And this is the only subject which will be taught, because those were too thick. And I'd never seen a thick book like that before. That was the first thing. And whenever the teachers would ask any question, of course, I did not have command over the English language, so I was very underconfident that these other people, I was judging silently everybody in the class, that oh my God, I have to spend my 5 years with these individuals. I was silently passing judgments against them, you know. So the very first day I felt that, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. 5 years, I'm going to waste my 5 years of life. But eventually we started realizing that we need to pull up our socks. There was not much mooting culture. There was not much debating culture. There were not many opportunities, frankly. And there was in my case, there was no support from the seniors, frankly. So, because even seniors did not have a choice. I mean, they did not do moot courts, etc. themselves. They could not have helped us. So I started taking moot courts because I used to feel that being a mooter is going to make you feel special. Because I saw people who were mooting getting a lot of attention. So I thought mooters are considered like gods in law schools. And thus we decided to moot. And then we made friends and we thought we'll get a chance to go out on an excursion. So we would make our best friend our team partner and we would go for moots, we'll prepare for it. So this way, slowly and gradually, I did some kind of activities, debating, mooting, and then internship happened. And a lot of people used to ask me, "Oh, which college are you from?" And I used to say, "Faculty of Law, Jamia Millia Islamia." So some of them used to say, "Faculty of Law, DU." I was like, "No, Jamia, Jamia." Then they used to say, "Jamia has law? We've never heard of it." So that was the case. But I'm glad that today things have changed. Now people recognize it as one of the best institutions for doing law, especially in Delhi, because I think location does play a very important role, given the fact that Supreme Court and High Court are here, and there are lower courts, so many tribunals in Delhi. Delhi is the hub for anybody who's planning to do law internship. So I think it's an excellent thing. Jamia it's centrally located. It's a beautiful building, good campus. So yeah, it's an excellent choice. So my college life was obviously the journey was initially difficult, and you were talking about NLU and non-NLU. So NLUs had a very different culture. They were more organized, and people, my friends from NLU used to tell me things that this is happening, that is happening, and I used to feel like, oh my God, none of that is happening in my college. And I used to feel that this is something which I used to feel alien to. But I learned from those colleges when I used to visit their colleges. I used to find out the good things and then apply all of that in my college. And I think the only good thing was that we learn best when we do something on our own. So I learned a lot of things. We had Jamia gave us a larger canvas to draw on. We had, because when you do something yourself, necessity is the best teacher. So when we had to take an initiative, we had to do everything from the scratch. So it taught us quite a lot of many things which I feel that other NLUs may not have taught me. Plus I may have just been a face in the crowd had I been in NLU. And they say that, so I mean, when you look for a diamond, you'll have to go to a place where you'll find it in coal, not in a shop of diamonds. So yeah, I think if you want to shine, you first have to be in something. And that's the best thing about Jamia. That gave me the that advantage. Was I took it as an advantage because I was able to take all initiatives. We had nothing to lose. That was the best part. And whenever we would do anything, we would do it the way we want. So at the end of the day, in my final year farewell speech, I remember saying that I'm glad that I was not, because at that time I used to have an impression that, the other colleges, the top prominent colleges were corporate law clones. So I used to say, at least I'm glad we were 70 individuals and not 70 corporate law clones. So, I mean, not that I have the same opinion today, but that back then in 2014, this is what I said. So yeah, I think it was an excellent experience.
Sure. So, I mean, we have heard your mooting stories and how you had organized our British Parliament debates, and this factor that you told us about, does Jamia has law? We remember we have seen the T-shirt which says we don't know you either. So, from the
Yeah,
British.
that's correct.
Yeah. This brings me to the next question, which is obviously related to the mootings. So, how would you describe the importance of mooting in law schools, and then the real life lawyering and the relation between mooting and real life lawyering? How different are they? And then, obviously, the major question is of legal research. How important is legal research in mooting and every other activities, and then in real life?
Okay, so I feel that, frankly, In a law school, you can only be taught the law. You will be taught from the books. You can read hundreds of books, but nobody can teach you how to argue like a lawyer. Nobody can teach you how to think on your feet. Nobody can tell you to be spontaneous. So you can be a good lawyer who knows the law, but being somebody who has advocacy skills and good presence of mind, etc. I think all of these quality only mooting can teach you in law school. So I think it's extremely pertinent to participate in moot courts, because as a law student, that's the best thing you can do. And there's not much which is available to law students. So I am of the view that mooting plays a very important role in shaping up, bringing out the best out of a student, uh, you know, trying to, if you want to work on your skills like speaking, uh, arguing, etc. I feel that mooting is an excellent platform because it does provide you with a problem, with any issue which is an ongoing issue on point of law, and you get to apply some law, and you get to research, prepare a memorial, and you learn teamwork. You learn coordination. So there are many things apart just from arguing that you learn when you are doing a moot. How to find use limited resources that you have, because a lot of colleges may not have all the best platforms for research, so they do with whatever they have. And I think mooting will teach you all of this. Then how you act as a leader, because every team has a leader, and then how you should divide the work, how you should divide the responsibilities, how you should motivate each other. I think all of these qualities are equally important, and I think mooting does that to you. It teaches you all of that which you cannot learn in the school of law, and teachers cannot teach you. No book will teach you. Now, coming to the real life court, I think it's extremely different. In a real life, it's not, because mooting, you have 1 hour or 45 minutes to present your case. You are very formal. The judge is not interrupting much. Whereas in a court of law, you don't get more than 5 minutes, sometimes 2 minutes. You have to put a point forth, and you just cannot stick to a structured speech, because mooting is more like you prepare a speech and you stick to that speech, that pattern which you have thought of, and you will get away doing whatever. I mean, you can quote law which is incorrect, judgment which has been overruled. You may not know the facts. You can do whatever you want, because that is all about, it's nothing is real. No real stakes are involved. But arguing in a court of law, when high stakes are involved and it's all real, whatever you say is going to make a difference in the life of your client and going to impact the case. So you have to be very careful. You have to be extremely cautious. So yes, there cannot be a comparison. Of course, real life litigation is absolutely different from mooting, but I would say that mooting is an excellent opportunity for lawyers to showcase their skills and to showcase their skill, and to brush up on their advocacy skills. But now coming to the legal research part, yes, legal research is going to be with you forever, no matter how old you are and how big you become. On your way up to success as a lawyer, research is an attribute which will be expected out of you at all times, whether you are working with a judge, whether you're working in a company with a lawyer, whether you're a lawyer yourself. The law keeps changing every day. Judgments are being pronounced. So you need to be updated. You need to know the recent developments in the law. And thus, legal research is something which would be required on a daily basis. So the idea is to, have those skills of being a good researcher. It is an excellent thing, and I think in a moot court, being a researcher teaches you that. So you can get into the habit of writing papers, etc., by virtue of which you will be able to develop your research skills.
All right. Coming to the next question, which I think every law student has had doubts about, is that legal education or law as a career is a very broad field, and one can actually opt for extremely different fields. So how does one, a law student like me or several others who are watching this, go up with making their CV in a way that there's the specific field that they want to work in, their CV is ready for that once they graduate? And in your case, that can be of corporate laws. You can cite the example.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. So frankly, in my case, I do arbitration. I'm an arbitration lawyer, commercial lawyer, insolvency, bankruptcy is what I do. But I never learned these subjects in law college. I didn't do anything in relation to this, and it's only by choice that it happened with me. But yes, now it's very competitive. It's not simple like it was earlier. Students are doing excellent. I'm very surprised on a daily basis. I see on my LinkedIn a lot of my followers, law students from first year, second year, firstly their LinkedIn presence, then they're writing on important current topics. So they are aware, they are focused, they know what they want to do after 5 years. But there will be students who would of course not know, until they graduate, that what they want to do. Some of them are confused even to the last day, people like myself. But I feel that it's extremely important to be able to make a decision as to what you want to do after 5 years are over. And if you have interest and if you're passionate about a subject, for instance, if you like uh, criminal law, then I would recommend that from the very first year, your research papers should be in that subject, like death penalty, bail, etc., etc. You can write on that. Then the competitions you are participating in, for instance, moot courts, you must target KK Luthra moot court or any criminal law moot court which is about criminal law. So far as your internships are concerned, you must consider interning with criminal lawyers. Like you may consider interning with Mr. Siddharth Luthra, Mr. Ramesh Gupta, all of these criminal lawyer. You may consider interning in such offices which are doing criminal work day and night, criminal law work, not like crimes. So this is the reason why I feel that, if you are actually writing research papers or journals, participating in competitions, so your CV, whenever you are working on your CV, it should reflect. So a person like me, if you come in front of me and ask for a job, I will have a look at your CV and you will tell me I'm interested in criminal law. And when I see your CV, it will reflect that yes, all your internships are in criminal law, all your papers, research, publications are in criminal law, all those topics. Similarly, you're participated in moot courts, which are relating to criminal law. So you have been very focused since day one, and anybody would prefer somebody who has that kind of expertise, of course. I would prefer keeping somebody who is an expert in the field already as a law student, who knows the basics, rather than somebody who says that I'm interested in criminal law and all his internships are in arbitration, his research papers are in tax. So I will think that person is confused. So I think that's a very important aspect which students must focus on, that they must align their activities with that of their goal. And once you align your activities in that same way, I think you are bound to reach the destination which you want to reach. Nothing can stop you.
Sure. So thanks a lot for this insightful information. So that this brings me to the next question and a more contemporary question on especially arbitration sector. See, in your opinion, what is the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on arbitration sector, and especially with regards to the limitation periods in the arbitration clauses, also the general measure of conducting arbitration proceedings online?
So far as limitation issue is concerned, the Supreme Court had initiated suo motu. There was an order of May and there's one order of March, which you may read, as per which limitation for all practical purposes was extended even for arbitration. And I think as per the 6th May or so order, the court had said that in every region where lockdown is lifted, so from that date, 15 days will be the deadline for all limitation purposes, whenever the lockdown is being lifted. So far as the limitation is concerned, everybody got the benefit of limitation when there was a lockdown. And you may read those orders of Supreme Court. The law is pretty clear. Insofar as your other question is concerned, which talks about what is the impact on arbitrations, yes. So I think that everything has now become virtual. We were never prepared for this, and we are going through a virtual world. And we've seen that the hearings are taking place virtually. Even this interview is taking place virtually, which otherwise perhaps you may have come down to my office to take. We never imagined, we were not ready for this. But I think we all must see this as a development in law rather than seeing it as a bane. I think it's a boon because some lawyers who are traveling day and night here and there, now you can sit in at least I have been able to attend 2 matters, 3 matters in different cities in the same day because of the virtual hearing. Yes, we were not equipped. We were not ready for this. The kind of infrastructure which was required, we did not have. We did not have the technology. Even the courts were not ready. The courts were not prepared. But at the end of the day, I think we are learning, we are picking up. The courts are doing a wonderful job. Matters are taking place. In fact, um, earlier, in physical hearings, we were not able to finish some of the matters which we have finished in time on these virtual platforms. But the only thing is because, like I said, arbitration has evolved from time to time. So we must see it as a development rather than seeing it as something which has been forced on us. Lastly, I'd like to say that yes, there are matters which are very voluminous, and if a cross examination is to take place, it might be slightly difficult to conduct it on a virtual platform because it's important to be physically present in front of the witness. You need to see the gestures, you need to see the conduct, and you need help from a lot of your juniors when you're cross examining. Perhaps you need to look at the documents because somebody might have to assist you with a lot of documents when it's voluminous. So I think only in that case it's a disadvantage. And yes, many lawyers do not even know how to use internet. The connectivity is poor. So all of those factors are there, of course, which are the reasons why I feel that it may not be the best idea to conduct virtual only. Otherwise, I see it as a very positive development.
Yes, sure, sir. There's definitely a point in that. And this brings me to the next question, which is what, according to you, the future holds for arbitration in India, as we see that there are certain countries who have done so well in arbitration that they are today the hub for arbitration proceedings. So, do you think that we are at a stage that India may become arbitration proceedings hub for the world?
Honestly, the government has been trying its best to make India the hub of international arbitration. And the amendments of 2019, wherein we came up with Arbitration Council of India, I think, and the recent New Delhi International Arbitration Center bill, all of that suggests that yes, the aim of the government is definitely to make India a hub of international arbitration. But we have not understood the problem. The problem is because, like, if you see today, more than 90% arbitrations in India are ad hoc. They're not institutional arbitrations. And if you look at countries like Singapore, SIAC, Singapore International Arbitration Center, which I will take as the best example, wherein the number of cases has increased up to 300% almost in the last 10 years, perhaps, as per the stats. So we don't understand, we're not focusing on the factors. Why are we languishing? Why are we not able to pick up? We are taking all these steps. So then I realized that implementation is a major problem. And I feel that we need better infrastructure. We need to be equipped properly. We need to have that kind of technology. And the other reason why India is not becoming the hub of arbitration the way we want to is because I think the focus must be on cities like Kolkata, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, and not just Delhi and Mumbai. We need to promote arbitration culture in Kashmir, in Chandigarh, in likes of Allahabad, Lucknow, all these places also. We must promote arbitration. It should not be restricted to Delhi and Mumbai only. So far as your other question is concerned regarding the future of arbitration, Palias Nariman, he is the living legend of law. He said that the future of arbitration is bright because the future of litigation is not. So I do agree with him fully, but I feel that we need an industrial revolution, and it is the need of the hour because we need to get more and more investment because largely our economy is dependent on agriculture. And I think we need more investment, trillions of dollars invested in infrastructure, in export, etc., and other sectors. Because if that happens, then we'll get more and more uh, more employment will be generated. But we need to understand that we need to give a positive message to these investors. We need to tell them that India is a pro arbitration country. The judiciary is pro arbitration. The stance which is being adopted is investor friendly. We are in favor of enforcement of awards. We are not somebody who's going to resist your awards. We are not somebody who will not take anti-arbitration approach. So I think we need to pass those kind of judgments, like recent judgments which Supreme Court is passing. I think we are trying to give a positive message. So yes, investors need to feel that in ease of doing business is there in India, and we are going to provide them a convenient and comfortable environment for doing business. And we have a robust arbitration mechanism. I think if we are able to gain that kind of confidence of these investors, then yes, the future of arbitration is very, very bright.
That's very insightful, sir. And with this, I come to my last question, which is obviously your advice to the students and the young practitioners who are watching this interview. So, what would you like to say to them?
This is my favorite question. I love giving advice to my young friends. The only problem is that they don't follow my advice. So I think that a lot of people like me because I'm somebody who's from not from the prominent law school. When I was in Jamia, we were not what we are today. I'm a first generation lawyer. I belong to a small town. They do not come from, I do not know any who's who. And they used to say that it's not what you know, it's who you know that gets you ahead in the profession. So I could have been discouraged with this. People told me that you don't have command over the language, you will not be able to survive in the profession. A lot of my friends told me that don't think about being a lawyer, just join any random job. What profession have you chosen? So people will talk about negativity in life. You will find certain people who will only try to bring down your morale, and they will try to discourage you from doing better in life. My advice to you all is that if you see such people in life, first and foremost, you get rid of them. A negativity is something which shouldn't live around you at all. And if it's in the form of people, friends, anybody, just get rid of those people first and foremost. The second thing is that believe in the power of positivity. Be positive about everything. Do not look at the limitations. See the possibilities. What is possible? Do not complain that my college does not have the infrastructure, my college does not have this, I am not from a family of lawyers, I am this, I am that, I'm not from NLU. I mean, now I have realized, I myself used to do all this, but I feel that at this juncture, I am in a position to say that these are just excuses that we make to ourselves. And at the end of the day, if you are working hard, I have not seen any substitute to hard work. And when people tell me you just got lucky, so I tell them, if I got lucky, then why people, I mean, I've not seen anybody who's sitting at home and getting lucky. So the harder you are working, the more lucky you get, then you're getting luckier. So you need to put in the efforts, you need to work hard. If you have a dream, if you have any idea in mind, you need to start working on it now. Do not wait for approval from friends, etc., that they should give you a second opinion. No, no, do it. If you believe in something, just do it. Don't think about the results. Do not. Because ideas come to our minds like drafts. And once we start acting on them, we put in efforts, they start taking shapes, and you see the end result at the end of the day. And then you're like, it was so easy. So these are the things which you must keep in mind. The other thing which I want to tell you is that there are no shortcuts. Do not rush. Have patience. Rome was not built in a day. Everything takes time. And if you want to shine like sun, you first have to burn like it. The problem is nobody wants to burn. Everybody wants money. Since the very first day, they want to be the, you know, Harvey Specter. So it's just in the movies, life is not a bed of roses. Believe in yourself and follow your aim. Remember that when your passion is your prison, you cannot break free. So just believe in something, let it be your prison, but just pursue your passion. That's all. That's all I will say.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. And this brings us to the end of the interview. So I thank all the viewers who are watching us, and sir, once again for taking out the time for this interview. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you very much.